And good evening, Tim. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Stephen. And yourself?
Very, very well. And all the better for seeing you here, mate.
Thank you.
You always look bright and happy in spite of what you know. So now, if I ask you a question here and you don't want to go down that road, that's fine. But I sort of realised before, but I realise more now that you're also into generating energy from water. So now that's something that I've got a Joe cell, and you'd know what a Joe cell is.
Yes, I do.
I have several of those. I've got one that's made of stainless steel with seven stainless steel rings and four neutrals and blah, blah, blah. I've gone through the conditioning of the water, and I think I've got something wrong with me, actually, because when I look at how many devices I've got stainless steel strainers out of sinks, all joined together, separated by washers that you can put inside a container like that.
Yeah.
You can make the fuel. So you've actually got a working HHO device or a Brown's gas device, or how do you refer to it?
Yeah, well, I just refer to it as a hydrogen generator.
Uh-huh.
And we, just a very quick story on it, we started that 15 years ago. And like everybody else, thought, well, I could put something together that's relatively inexpensive and make it work and do everything else. But we wanted to try and help the independent truck driver to reduce the price of fuel when diesel was nearly, $2 a litre.
Yes.
And we realised pretty quickly we had to get a little more serious than, glass jars and plastic and bits and pieces.
And alligator clips.
And now, So we went down the research and development track over the next probably 18 months after we started. And we spent $1.8 million developing this system. And we have the most efficient hydrogen fuel cell really in the world, where we've just come back from WA and testing on generators over there that these guys have got a contract to dewater every mine in the Pilbara with diesel generators and pumps. And on a 24-volt generator, we took 1.5 amps off the battery and gave that generator an 8.2% reduction in fuel consumption and a 20% increase in torque.
Uh-huh.
And our system, the anodes and electrodes, they look like stainless steel, but they're a long way beyond stainless steel, to the point where we will guarantee these, if they're on a vehicle, we'll guarantee them for 5 million kilometres. They'll never wear out. And so the University of South Australia, through Professor Sanfil Bari, tested our system because he wanted to do a paper on it. And he did all the tests and everything else. And he called me into his office. He said, we can't do the paper. I said, why not? And he said, if I publish what I found, I'll never work in a university ever again.
Mm.
He said, you are 200 times over unity.
Yeah.
Meaning we've broken the law of physics. Because I wasn't.
It's not a law. It's not a law.
It's a rule. No, that's right.
It's a theory.
Yes. And he said, how did you do it? I said, well, it was pretty simple, really. I wasn't in school the day they taught physics. So they never taught me what I couldn't do.
Okay, so we'll stop that there for a moment, because I think that could be the topic of a whole Zoom meeting. But I wanted people to be aware of it. And now, in light of that, when they start to talk about, climate change, and we've got to do this with fuel, and we've got to do all that, well, you would know that that's all very real, wouldn't you? Because there's no alternative to the fuels that they burn, so we better pay more tax and try and fix this problem.
Yeah, look, as you could probably guess, I do a fair bit of research, and just to fill a lot of people in who don't know me, look, I got chucked out of school when I was 14. I punched the headmaster out one day. Him and I had a disagreement. And when he regained consciousness, he suggested it'd be a good day for me to leave school. And that was okay with me because I was basically illiterate. I couldn't read or write anyway, so it was just a babysitting program for me. And so in all my research, what I've discovered is that if they keep depleting the amount of carbon out of the planet, nothing will grow. We need to put more carbon in, not less.
Exactly.
And but when I came up with this program, and now it's getting pretty popular, is to talk about green hydrogen is everywhere. And so I said to my good friend Trevor, and I said to him, mate, I said, if these blokes want to buy fresh air, I'm just the bloke to sell it to them.
And tell me, Tim, with your device, does it separate the oxygen from the hydrogen?
No, we use the oxygen as well as the hydrogen in the combustion chamber. And the reason we do that is all combustion engines have a what they call a stoichiometric value, which is an air fuel air ratio. If we took the oxygen out, we would upset the original stoichiometric values.
Yep.
And so we have to put the oxygen in to be able to burn our hydrogen without disrupting the petrol or the diesel.
Okay, so when you're extracting it, because I've got a couple of machines that work. I've got a torch and that sort of thing, and they've got unique properties which people wouldn't realise. Like, for example, the only byproduct I get from my torch is pure water that you can drink. That's better than the water that went in to make it.
That's correct.
I can run the flame over my hand, like just backwards and forwards, and it doesn't burn me. And I can turn the edge of a brick into black glass.
Yeah.
So now I tell other people who know their physics, and they say, well, you can't do that. And I say, well, that's fine. And I'll just finish off with one little story on my side of it. I was experimenting one day and I wanted a bigger flame. And I'm not as smart as you. So on the jet that I had, I got a drill, and I drilled, don't pull faces. I drilled it out. I made the hole bigger. And then I'm going away on the brick, and all of a sudden it went crack. And I had clear pipes, right? Clear lines. And I remember going, oh no, because I saw the flame going right back up the pipe. Now, the machine that I had isopropanol in it. And the look, this is the manufacturer. I got it from Best Energy Solutions Technology in South Korea.
Yep.
And the instructions said, you've got your 2 flashback arresters made of stainless steel, mind you, with great big thick plastic caps. And it said that you have the torch, then you have the isopropanol, then you have the water to protect the machine. And when I was reading, I was thinking, what's protecting me? Anyway, so we'll do that. So anyway, the flame went back into the isopropanol, and like it was so fast that it happened, and it exploded. And it blew the plastic cap off, thank goodness. But when it did that, all the isopropanol came out on fire. So my hair was on fire, my shirt was on fire, the bonnet of the car was on fire, a roll of carpet, the roller door, various things, and there was all fire between me and the machine, so I couldn't turn it off. Now, it sort of didn't matter, but if you've ever seen anybody that's calling for help but doesn't want to attract attention, that was me. But before I knew what happened, I had 5 guys hanging over the fence, all the neighbours. And one of them's got a hose, and he just says, I like Australians. Do you need a hand, Steve? I wouldn't mind. I'm going to put the fire out, and he already had the hose. So he squirted everything, put the hose out, and they said, what were you doing? And I said, I was burning water. And they went, oh, you have a nice day. And away they went. They didn't want to know anything about it.
No.
So with what you're doing, without going too far into it, do you sell these units commercially, or are they available? Or
yeah, we do. We on a truck like a B double or a road train or something like that. They're a unit weighs about 16, 17 kilos, costs about $8,000, and they'll pay for that in fuel savings in 4 months.
Yep.
And the small ones for the 4-wheel drives and rigid vehicles and stuff like that, they're 3,800. So the people have got to be doing a lot of miles to be able to recoup that, but they can change it from one vehicle to the other, to the other, to the other. It'll never wear out.
Now, do you find also that they have the ability to clean the combustion chamber and that sort of thing, so the engine runs more efficiently?
Yeah, the engine, see what happens is all these new 4-wheel drives have got what they call diesel particulate filters.
Yes.
DPFs. And on a 4-wheel drive, could be a Nissan or a Toyota, they're going to cost you about between $3,000 and $4,500 to replace them. And they'll need replacing it somewhere around about 180 to 220,000 Ks. And by using hydrogen in the air mix, you'll never fill a diesel particulate filter because it burns every skerrick of carbon that's in the combustion chamber. I've got one on my car. It's a Commodore, and it gets an oil change every 30,000 Ks, whether it needs it or not.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Now this might be wrong, but it's what my experience of it is. So I refer to the flame as being a reactive flame, in that it burns at the temperature it needs to react with the material it's igniting. So that's why I can run the flame over my hand and it doesn't burn me, but I can put it on iron and it's instantly red hot. Yep. But I can put the flame into water and it sort of slowly heats it up, but it's nothing to get excited about. It's better off to put that water in an iron thing and then put it underneath, and it'll boil very quickly.
Yep.
Okay, so that's just an introduction to another Zoom meeting, but I just wanted to use that as an example to people that if you think that the government or anybody has got any way looking after you, it's just so wrong, because this can also be used for your health. It can be used on your skin, all sorts of different things. So it's an amazing bit of.
If you put it in your watering can, if you get the bubbles running through the watering can full of water and tip that on your garden, you watch your garden grow. Yeah. Anyway, there we go.